You are listening to the Gate 7 International Podcast, a podcast connecting Olympiakos fans from Melbourne to Baltimore, from London to Piraeus. We are 4 Olympiakos fans from every corner of the world, bringing you news and interviews of the team you love in English. With new episodes twice a week, you'll never lose the latest updates and stories of the team you love. This is our team, our city, and our land. Man Oniro Trello. You're listening to the Gate 7 International Podcast.
Welcome to the Gate 7 International Podcast, your official English source for all things Olympiakos FC and Greek football. You're listening to episode number 72. My name is Peter Thompson. I'm here with Adi Bouloubasis and Costa, my co-hosts. Lambro is missing today. The word on the street is he's headed to the airport right now because we are champions. 46-time Greek champions. We've won the league. It's time to celebrate, everybody. Costa, how you feeling?
Finally, we've wrapped it up. I don't know how many games before the end of the season. 46 titles. It's a ridiculous number. 4 titles away from sewing the 5th star on the shirt. Congratulations to everybody. It's been a very tough season. 2 seasons playing nonstop.
Incredibly well-deserved for the boys, for sure. And we're going to get into the game itself. It was a roller coaster of emotions, folks. I'm a bit emotionally drained, I have to admit. My voice is a bit sore, but we're going to go through it. We'd love to hear what you have to say in the chat. Thank you very much if you're tuning in live. But before we do get started with the game, we do have a few announcements, as always, to get through. First of all, thank you to everybody for the support that you've given us. In case you missed it, we announced in our last episode that we have released the website and blog, gate7intl.com. This was something that's been in the works for a while, and we're really excited to see how well it's turned out so far. So thank you, everybody, for giving us all this great positive support for the blog and the website. Additionally, Olympiakos DC Academy, as we mentioned, they've started their season in the UPSL. Unfortunately, they lost their first game to Germantown City FC 2-1. It was a hard-fought game, but the season is still very young, folks, and we hope to see more as the boys get to know each other. The team begins to build some chemistry. Really excited for that moving forward.
And one quick thing to tack on to that. Guys, if you missed the game, go to the link that we put out on social media. Go check out the olympiacosdc.com page. You can still catch the replay of the game. When Harry Kara-George came on to the show, when we interviewed and talked about the academy, he mentioned that there were a couple of players that were kind of on the radar and might be making their way to Greece. If you watch the game, you probably can tell which ones they are. So this is a great opportunity for you guys to get at the ground level, see what's there, and see what could make its way to the training ground of Olympiakos in Piraeus. So check it out, support the guys. And if you're living in the Virginia, Maryland area, or maybe even Pennsylvania, if you're very far south, you can go to the games. They are allowing limited attendance into the stadiums. It's $5 entry, but if you're in Olympiakos, if you're part of the Olympiakos DC fan club, you can go for free.
Lambro must have made it to the airport, people. He's sending us some comments. Unfortunately, couldn't be here for this episode because he's trying to get amongst it. He heard that Lazar is going to be celebrating his championship tonight, and Lambro wanted to be there because Bruno can't be there. By the way, shout out to Adi's, our B team, for throwing the game today and letting us win the league. Thanks so much, Adi. Great job, guys. Bruno and everyone in that team, Mitroglou. Huge stuff. It takes, I have to admit, the conspiracy theorists are going to be out because to concede 3 goals to Ike and only score 1, you got to think there's something going on there. Anyways, moving on with some other news that we have to tell you. Don't forget that we have an interview. Our next episode will be out on Friday, April 16th, and we will be joined by Olympiakos player Belgian international midfielder Guillaume Gier. Still playing football now. He's had an incredible career, and we're going to talk to him about everything from Olympiakos and everywhere else in his career. So remember to ask us questions if you have any questions for Guillaume. He came at a very turbulent time, played for a team that did not meet the expectations, and it might be interesting to see what his take was on that team. And even if you've got questions just about his career in general as well, those would be more than welcome. Just
something to tack on to that. Yes, he was in the team during a very, well, let's say shit season. We changed 5 managers that season. We definitely intend on getting into that, and we will be asking him what the hell happened. Can he give us some insights into what was going on in the dressing room? I mean, really, that was the season before Pedro Martins came in. Probably the worst season that I've ever witnessed, the team, the club. So we do intend to go into that. Don't you worry.
It's going to be a very interesting one, folks. I'm really excited for it. And if that's not exciting enough, we do have a couple more special guests on the horizon. We don't want to give too many details away just yet because they're still in the works, but keep your eyes and ears on our social media pages, Gate7INTL, as well as the podcast for more announcements on that. Lastly, as always, I would like to say thank you to our sponsor, Piraeus International. Piraeus International has been helping Greeks ship to and from the motherland during COVID-19. Shipments to Greece are going out from Baltimore, Maryland every month. Fill any large U-Haul box, 18 by 18 by 24. Send it to our friends in Baltimore, and it will be shipped to the port of Piraeus for only $50 US. Better yet, fill any large wardrobe box and send it for $100. Give them a call at 410-675-4696 or send an email to sales@piraeusintl.com. Lazar Angelovic, Aris FC. Good fit, to be fair. Imagine Bruno Gama on one wing, Lazar on the other. That's a big team. That's better than what I probably have, to be fair.
And then Bruno at the 10.
And Bruno at the 10. Or right back. Bruno can play everywhere.
Or right back, wherever.
He
overlapping Lazar.
Yes. Anyway, let's get into what everyone's here for. The game. 3-1 Olympiakos. Hassan, a.k.a. Diudis, giving us 2 goals. And Bruma getting a goal to wrap it up and ease my rapid heartbeat at the end of the game. Very turbulent one, folks. When we started out playing very well, El Arabi with a very nice goal early on, I'm thinking, we're going to cruise and we're going to win the league. It's going to be great. But it gets called back because of offside. Shortly after, Makeda wins a penalty. A bit of controversy, but, I'm not going to criticize the referee for that. Criticize the referee for other things later. But scores the penalty. And we get Hassan hitting it right at Diudis, and Diudis just, I don't even know what happened to him there, but we go into the half 1-1. And then Hassan does it again in the second half. We had another goal disallowed in the second half as well because Hassan's hand touched the ball. But we went up 2-1, and then it was just about defending against 10-man Panathinaikos. So, Costa, I'll let you just...
I want to take a step back because is the scores we're 1-0 down, right? We go 1-0 down, and then Bar starts grabbing his back again. He's on the floor, he's banging his fists on the ground, and you're like, okay, here we go again. It's his back playing up, and first substitution, Hassan steps up. And on the WhatsApp group between the 4 of us, Lambro, of course, is like, fuck's sake. Why is Hassan coming on first? And I think the 3 of us were like, no, this is the right one. This is the right move. We need to get a goal. We need to fill the box with bodies. Hassan's coming on. And then lo and behold, of course, Hassan gets the equalizer. Hassan get the second goal. Labro, is there any reason in particular maybe you're not with us today on the show? Besides
Hugo Kuipers didn't come on instead.
Guys, Lambro did text me. He does have a stop in Thessaloniki. He is picking up Bruno for the party as well. He's coming to the celebration.
He deserves to come. Bruno, we wouldn't have won the league without him. But no, I mean, Costa, the thing with that change, I was, as you said, like, I was like, yeah, that's probably good. You know, we're down a goal. But I was surprised he did it, to be honest. When Bas started going down, my first thought was, oh, probably Oleg to come on and Holebas to go into the center back and we keep the same formation. I was kind of surprised Martins that early in the game went with a very like reactionary attacking change. But I mean, folks, it worked out. So we have to give him that. Hassan, many good chances as always, puts away 2 of them. It was a classic game from Hassan. I don't know what we need to say.
Can I just like remind people of something? And I was looking at his statistics. So in his first season with the club, he scored 15 goals. His second season at the club, he scored 8. And this season, he scored 15 again, and the season's not over. So he's looking at a record-breaking season at the club. And may I remind people that at Christmas, when he went away for a game with Egypt, he came back with COVID. And we weren't sure at a certain moment in time whether he might ever play football again. He had major complications after coming back. And, okay, we shit on him a lot for reasons justified sometimes, because he's one of those players that frustrates me, all of us so much. Dare I say it reminds me a little bit of Alekos Alexandris. Many years ago, we used to sing in Greek, Alexandri, it's like, oh, Alexandri, for fuck's sake. You know, he misses the tap-ins or like the easy goals, and then he scores the spectacular, like the overhead kick Hassan scored the other day in the cup. But he's always there or thereabouts. He's there in the right place at the right time. It was a bullet header that Socrates Diodis couldn't stop for the equalizer. And then the second one is just, again, he got into the right position. He got his foot there. No real skill in it. Just, you know, he's just stuck his foot in front of the ball after a good cross, and it's 2-1. Just as easy. And again, we need another striker next year. I'm going to say it again. But he is a blessing, second striker to have on the bench. I don't think there's any manager as happy as Pedro Martins having a striker like El Arabi and Hassan as his number 1 and number 2 right now.
Well, I wasn't surprised at all when Hassan came on. The first 20 minutes, it was one-way traffic, and we had a lot of service going into the box. To the point where I was actually thinking to myself, man, it probably would have been nice to have him starting. Because this was the perfect scenario for him. You have tons of service getting in there, and that's what he needs. He's a scrappy guy. These derbies are scrappy, and the game script was favoring us in a manner that I thought he was necessary. Now, Hassan, of course, excels the most when we play him as a second striker, when he's there with El Arabi. So when Ba came off and then Hassan came on, probably the first time this season when I saw Hassan come on, was really happy, because I was like, okay, the way this game's going, he's getting something. He might miss a few, which he did, but he's going to get at least 1. And he ended up with 2.
I see Spiros Christodoulou with a comment here. Should we just get this over with, guys? I was livid watching this game. And look, okay, I'm not talking about the penalty for Makeda. Like, I could see that being called a penalty. I think it was Costa in the chat who said, like, if that was El Arabi with the ball and like Velez did that, we'd be screaming for a penalty. Like, I'm not saying that was a bad call, but oh my God, the number of fouls that were committed by Panathinaikos players, especially in the first half, without a yellow card being given out. And I just want to say as well, like, I totally understand, like, you want foreign referees for these games. Like, I understand that. I really do. But you get like Danish people who just like come in like, oh, it's just a regular old football game. Like, oh, we don't need to control the game. Oh, it's just a foul. No big deal. And then it just escalates. And you've got Androutsos, this poor kid, Hatziovanis, like put his, like, genuinely, that is such a dangerous play for Hatziovanis to make. And like that happens because there's just no like restraint from the referees, letting them foul our players every time. Velez, Molo, all of these clowns had like 6 fouls. And then Mauricio kills Androutsos again right after Hatziovanis did. Guys, this is ridiculous. And I know I'm not saying it like affected the result. You know, we won the game, whatever. But like, this is the safety of the players, and it's also the enjoyability of the game. I don't want to sit here and watch Velez tackle Jan Vila and like hit his leg and foul him like 8 times. Nobody wants to see that. Give the goddamn guy a yellow card, please. That was ridiculous. That's all I've got to say about the referees. Like, obviously, you know, I'm not salty or anything because we won the game. I think, like I said, the penalty is not, and that's another topic, but that was ridiculous for me. I can't believe how many fouls they got.
Yeah, they weren't even trying to play the ball. Some of them. It's like, do you want to go and play in a rugby match, or like, do you want to go and do some wrestling? It's like, what are you doing? It was clear they had instruction from the manager to be aggressive, and like, that's fine. Like, be aggressive and like go for the ball. Like, what I mean, but some of the challenges, they were just straight up like, I mean, El Arabi and Boguras in the first half. Boguras he was chasing El Arabi around the pitch, fair enough, but he was like kicking him in the heel like all the time. And you saw there were moments on camera, you saw El Arabi turn around and look at him. It's like, what's wrong with you, man? It's like, okay, there are things that happen on the field for 90 minutes, but I think that they were going like way over the line. And we said at the end of the first half, if Boguras manages to stay on the pitch at the in the second half, either Boguras or El Arabi was going off, and it was Boguras that went off in the end with the second yellow. But I completely agree, and I don't like getting into this whole like the referee, this, that, the other. I think the referee came in and he tried to be, you know, it's a derby, I'm going to let the game flow, etc., etc., etc. But after a certain moment in time, he did start pulling the yellow cards out, and then the red came out. So, okay.
Yep. It was a bit too late. The unacceptable thing for me was when they had 3 times the number of fouls that at halftime, when they threw the statistic up, almost 3 times as many fouls. Yet we had 3 yellows and so did they. The fact that Wankar made it out of the first half, forget the whole game. The fact that he made it out of the first half without a yellow, especially when he deliberately stuck his foot out and clipped Jan Vila, that was unacceptable.
The guy flops like a fish as well when he has the ball.
Exactly.
He flops like a fish.
When the play ended, that should have been a yellow directly to Wankar. I think the ref forgot about it because at first he looked at it and he pointed at him, but then he never went back. That should have been a yellow. That's really the biggest thing that for me. Look, I was upset about the VAR calls, but the offsides, when I saw that, you know what, it was barely offside, but it was offsides. The foul, the penalty that they got, okay, was it soft for me? Yeah, but you know what? I've seen plenty of refs that give them, so I can't say too much about that. The goal call back from Hassan, guys, his hand was up, it hit him, whatever. But that's the really big thing for me. I mean, there were deliberate attempts to hurt players. It was deliberate. Like when you see a guy, the ball's been played and he sticks his leg out. I mean, Boguras, he'd be charged with sexual assault right here in Baltimore. The shit that he was doing to El Arabi. I mean, my God, take the guy to dinner first before you touch him in all those places. My word. At one point, it looked like he touched his nuts. Are you kidding me? Ridiculous. But the biggest thing for me was the yellow card issue because, I mean, in the rule book, it says when there is a pattern of negative behavior against a player, then the future offenses are bookable. When Adrutos gets fouled 3 times in a row, or El Arabi, 3 fouls from the same person in a period of 6 minutes, a yellow card has to come out. Now, Boguras got the red card deservedly, but man, he should have been sent off way earlier. Disgusting. Happy that we won overall, but the biggest thing for me was the discrepancy, the vast disparity of the cards, especially the first half.
This comment, I'm sorry, I had to.
Can I ask because like this is like when you asked me like Costa, how do you feel like we won the championship again? So I don't mean to sound like an absolute cunt, but it's like we are kind of spoiled. Like we're just so used to winning the championship, and when we don't win the championship, we're it's the end of the world. But like I guess the question's more for you, Peter. Like, as an outsider, like, what has it been like for you supporting the club? Like, I mean, obviously we're happy, but we're not like, we're not, I could sit here and jump around and be like, yeah, we won the 46th title.
I mean,
so for me, I'm looking at the 50th. I'm looking at the 50th and how we're going to win that the next 4 years, how we're going to do better in Europe. Greece is, the championship in Greece is always something I want to win every year. It's like everything we start every year wanting to win the championship, and anything else, like not getting that is an absolute failure. But like, what's it like for you, like on the outside, not being Greek, like taking that comment into account?
So the thing for me, Costa, is we've known we were going to win the league since like November?
Pretty much.
You know what I mean? So it's not like if it was like the last day of the season and we didn't know if we were going to win the league and we won it, it would be like, big, like, huge emotions. But it's like, we knew this was happening. It was just a matter of when. Now I am excited that we did it against Panathinaikos, because that's like, just shut up all the clowns and trolls. To be fair, there are some Panathinaikos fans that I respect, like Antoni or Alki, like, respect you guys, but we won. But like for the rest of the clowns, like it feels good for that reason, honestly, just to do it against them. If we did it against like Ike, like, yeah, okay, like we know we beat Ike every time. It's like not as big of a deal, but to do it in the way that we did it, I think was really nice. But you're right, Costa. Like, I would have rather had like quarterfinal, or I would say like even semifinals of Europa League and then going out. I would prefer that. That would make me like feel better than winning the league, because it's like, that was like above our expectations. We didn't know if we were going to we wouldn't know if we would have gotten that far. Winning the league is the expectation. If we don't win the league, then it's that
comment. It's that comment
Yeah.
For those that are listening on the podcast. Spiros Christodoulou, today is a normal day for us.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. I mean, I remember when I grew up, right? The first championship that I remember kind of vividly was 19. I want to say it was like 97 or 98. I was about 7-8 years old, and I was sort of more paying attention to what was going on. And that's kind of the first time I remember seeing us win the championship and seeing celebrations and stuff. So since then, I mean, since I've been really not just alive, I know that in my early years, technically, Ike and Panathinaikos were winning. But since that time, Panathinaikos won the championship in the 03-04 season or 04-05 season, the season leading up to the Euro Cup. I think it was 03-04, and then they won again in the 2009-2010 season when they won the double. So in my lifetime, besides the 2 years before last year, we haven't really had a period where we were not dominant. The 2 years that we didn't win the title in my lifetime are technically the dark ages I've witnessed in Olympiakos, because I've never witnessed, besides that 2 seasons, where we haven't won a title.
I will say one thing I am excited for, and I think Costa is hopefully excited for this as well. We've won the league. Martins, can we get some academy players in? That's kind of another reason I wanted to wrap this up more quickly. Can we see Chelios, Solis, what's the name of the defender? Christo Friopoulos. I know Ba is injured, but and I was thinking I hope Ba can be okay and get back. And then I was like, wait, no. We've got Avram and we've got young players. We don't need Ba back. We've won the league. So that's one thing, a small note as well, that I'm excited for personally. Hopefully Martins does give some of these kids a chance. I mean, there's literally no reason for him not to do anymore. So I will be pretty upset if we don't see a lot of these kids, but that's nice as well.
It's going to be tough. Sorry, just a quick one. Going into the next game against Bauk, I don't really see it, but do you know what pisses me off is I hear these transfer rumors, for example. It's we all know we need a winger. Yeah, we're going to get a winger. I believe that we're going to bring in someone like Belhanda, a big name, quality player. He's 31 years of age. Ari did a really nice deep dive on him in the last episode. If you missed that, go back and listen to the last episode, find the chapter on YouTube and listen to it. Ari's got 10-minute segment all about Belhanda. We have quite a few people listening live at the moment, and I want to see in the chat, do you want to see youth players in these games against BAUK, against the supposedly top 6? Do you want to see youth players? Do you think we'll see youth players? Who do you want to see? I think Martins is still going to be trying out this 3-4-3 system. I think that's clear to all of us now, the last few games ahead of what's to come, the European campaign. We're going to be starting from the second round, maybe the first, depending on results in the Champions League. But yeah, we all want to see these young players. And when I hear rumors like a Rui Tavares, who I've never heard of, from Leicester's under-23s being looked at as a central midfielder, and we have a player like Vasilis Surlis, who's touted as this hot talent, I'm thinking, hang on, why are we bringing this person that I've never heard of from Leicester? Supposedly, it's a rumor. That annoys me. That really annoys me. Sorry, I'm going to end there. Ari, you wanted to say something?
No, that's actually a really good point. And before I touch on that, I wanted to give a shout out again. We said it before, but El Arabi, 20-plus goal season again. And I didn't know this back when we did the shout out then, but El Arabi is the first striker in the Greek Super League to have back-to-back 20-plus goal seasons since Djibril Cissé over 10 or almost 10 years ago. So huge shout out to him. It's not often we get back-to-back years where we have strikers that score 20-goal seasons. In fact, the Greek Super League hasn't had that since Miralas did it, and then Jabor did it the following season. That was 8 years ago. So huge news for him. Fantastic, class player, the king of Qatar. Now, to Costa's point, I'm 100% on board with you. That pisses me off, especially when you hear so much about Solis. And then Liatzos. Why the hell haven't we seen him yet? There's so much interest abroad for him, and we haven't seen him. I just don't want to see like some of these players like practicing with the first team for 2 years, and then they just go off and they play for like Lamia or Basyanina, Saliakas, anybody. I didn't know this about him, but he was a similar story with Olympiakos. He was training with the first team, sent on loan year after year after year. And now here we are, we're looking at bringing him back to the team after we shipped him off and he played for all these other teams. It just doesn't make sense. And this is a great comment by Paraskevas Dimitropoulos. Apostolopoulos, another hot talent that was talked to. I know he's young, but come on. We can't see like a second half appearance or something for these guys. We got to be much better about this.
In the least, let's get Rusai back in the team, man. Like, I need to see that boy again.
Did he have great? Did he have a sling around his arm today, or did I completely just?
I didn't see.
I didn't see that.
Okay.
My one thing with Rusai is, and that's just because of my own personal experiences with knee injuries, I am perfectly okay with not messing with him for the rest of the season, letting him go rehab before the end of next season, because guys, those meniscus injuries can turn into ACL problems or ACL, PCL, LCL tears. It's like one domino that leads to other dominoes that can then screw your whole knee up. He really needs to make sure that the muscles around that knee area, your quads especially, are very strong. That's really what you do. When you tear your meniscus, you spend the rest of your time strengthening the muscles around it so that you're not relying as much on that tendon. So I'd rather him take more time rehab, strengthen that leg up, both legs for that matter. So, and then be ready for the next season, not the season that's already over. But that's just my opinion. And I know I have a bad experience that really is creating that halo effect for that.
Spiro says Saliakas is a great right back. He reminds me of Tsimikas. I'm not sure I'll go that far.
I wouldn't go that, but he is good. Look, I'll say this because there's a couple of players for Basyanina that have impressed me this season. But Saliakas, he could definitely do a job in the league for us as an alternate. The one thing that annoys me a little bit is that here we are talking about replacements and stuff. We just brought Lala in. Adroutsos is doing a great job for us there. I talked about some stats with Adroutsos in a previous episode. He leads the Greek Super League for right backs when it comes to crosses on a per 90-minute basis. He has some of the highest levels of offensive production on a per 90-minute basis for volume. So he's doing a great job there. Now, the only reason I would want us to bring another right back is if we're going to move him to the middle. And if that's the case, okay, I'm comfortable with that too. But I don't see why we should mess with what's working. Lala still deserves time. A lot of people are being really harsh on him.
I don't really want another right back either, to be honest with you. Bouchalakis leaving. So he was not great today, man. Is that what's...
No. I mean, I just put that there to provoke a little bit because I don't know if people listen to his comments at the end of the game. But okay, he has I think he has another year contract, and so it ends not this year, next year. And there's been talk about extending it, giving him more money, etc., rewarding him for his performances this year. He's become club captain. I actually thought he wasn't that bad. He played a fantastic pass in for that goal that was disallowed. He's kind of, you lose him sometimes in the game, but he's always working. He's always, positioning himself very well. He always gives you that kind of 6.5, 7 steady and above. It rarely goes below that kind of average performance that you expect from him. But I don't know, there are rumors about offers coming in from Germany. I wonder, from his body language as well, for anybody that saw him in the post-match, there was something there. I don't know if any of you picked up on it.
I did not, but
I didn't know.
I mean, I would say I would like to keep him around. Obviously, I think our best midfield is Camara and Villa, but he's a very valuable rotation player, I would say, at least. Good player for the club to have on the team. I mean, if we get a good figure for him, he's going to go. But I don't really see teams shelling out big money for Bouchalakis, if I'm being honest with you.
Look, I'll say this. If we get in the neighborhood of 7 million or 8 million for him, we're taking the money and running. Because here's the concern. Look at the context that had to be created for Bouchalakis to be successful. How many times did we send Bouchalakis on loan? How many times have we been frustrated with him as a player until Martins really came along? And I guess technically before that, it was Marco Silva that also had Bouchalakis looking pretty decent. So under this system, Martins has found the niche for him that he excels in. This kind of hybrid 6 that also will play things downfield. So he's been pretty solid for us. Now we know that he's a confidence guy. The second a couple poor things happen and he loses that confidence, then it starts to get a little iffy. And I will say that he probably needed to be subbed before he actually did get subbed. But I thought he had a decent, like Yorgos Ganas here just said, he had a good first half for me. He really started to tumble off in that second half. Maybe he was tired. Who knows what was going on? But I just find it hard to believe that if we sell him, he'll excel in another system because it took so long to find that role that he fits so well in. So if a team's going to buy him, and they haven't really seen that he plays a very specific role for us, I don't think he's going to be able to emulate that success if he goes elsewhere. But dude, if we get 7-8 million for him, he's gone, guaranteed.
Also, I mean, if we get 7-8 million for him, I don't really care if he excels in another system somewhere else in Germany either. It has to be said. I mean, best of luck to the guy, but at the end of the day, the money is the money. But I mean, we'll see what happens. I think if he goes, I think we would still need another. I would still maybe want another central midfielder on top of Belhanda, though, is the thing. Thiago Silva, not going to cut it for me. And I don't know who that would be.
You start to lose quite a lot of power in the midfield if you lose Camara and Bouchalakis.
Yeah, if Camara goes as well, then we're kind of in trouble, to be honest with you. We would have to make some big transfers. And
Bouchalakis he's a big guy. I mean, I don't know.
He came up as a center back.
What, sorry?
He came up as a center back. He is a young player. He was a center back, wasn't he?
No, he was a 10.
Oh, really?
He was a
Yeah, I
10.
thought he was further up.
He started
So
as a
what's
10
the
at Ergotelis. He was playing as a number 10, and he worked his way back like to the 6s and 8s, if you like. But if we lose Mady and we lose Camara and we bring in Belhanda's got a lot of flair. He's good with the ball at his feet. He's quite feisty, but you lose a lot of power. So there's been talk of Kasami actually again, but that's I think something that comes and goes every summer. With Kasami.
That's every year. Yeah. The important thing is, God forbid. I mean, well, I say God forbid, but it's probably going to happen sooner than later. You see what Mady gives us. As soon as he came on, the change between Bouchalakis and Mady. Mady just has such a large portfolio of assets when going forward. He's pretty decent on the bar. He's got vision, and his technique is just every year you see the improvement that Mady makes in terms of execution. It's incredible that we have gotten a player like Mady Camara, a diamond in the rough when we found him. So the important thing for us is if we're going to emulate the success next season, we really need to make sure that we have a guy that is as creative as him. That's just that way our midfield can function. Because, and this isn't to discredit Jan and Villa or Bouchalakis, because both of them do a great job for us, but neither one of them do what Mady Camara does.
Changing the subject a little bit, guys. Another player we've talked about a lot this year, Masouras, was quite good today, I thought.
Top.
Great performance.
He was solid today.
He's had a great run of form. Couple weeks now. He's looked great.
You got to wonder if that miss at the end of the Panathinaikos game last time was in the back of his head today. He was putting in great crosses all game long. Obviously, as he always works really hard. He was working really hard today. Yeah, I figured he's worth a shout out. He had a great game.
I think so too,
really?
Man.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, go ahead, Ari.
No, yeah, pressing the ball especially. I mean, he created so much chaos. And then I also appreciate, I know I've joked around that he doesn't really have a big skill set. He can't take players on. But when he went for that nutmeg cutting in on, was that Sankare? And he went through, I was like, oh, I don't know if it actually went through his legs, but it worked. So you know what? I sort of take it back.
He does have this move on the left-hand side where he's on his right foot and he shows the player inside, and he likes to go on the outside and cross it with his left. That is a move that he has in his repertoire, and he's quite good at that, actually, like crossing with his left foot. Like, fair enough. It's like he's worked on it. And yeah, man, he did have a very good performance today. And he's also another one of those like Hassan, Bouchalakis, Masouras. They're all that kind of category, you know? They're the ones that we dick all over in the European games when we're like, oh, you're not good enough to play for the club. And then they're the ones that in these kinds of games, like in the Greek league, they put in solid performances and they help you get the wins that you need to win the league and ultimately play in Europe at the end, you know, in the next season. So you do need those kind of players.
Moving on, I want to talk about it now because I see it in the comments. Jose Sa again.
Yeah.
Incredible.
That was a big save.
The fact, not just to get there, but he just caught the ball. That is high difficulty. Like, especially you look at the ball flying right through Diudis' hands on the other side of the pitch like 3 times. Like, Sa to just catch that and secure it. That was incredible stuff from him. Like, once again, I'm nervous and I have no reason to be because we have Jose Sa in our net. It has to be said, as always, like, he is such a big player for our team.
Yeah, I want to give a little shout to Carlitos, by the way. When he came on, he was impact sub for them. Roman, this is a hot take right here. Masouras is the better version of Seba. You know what? I think Lambro might give that one to you. It's a shame he's going to pick up Bruno and he's not here with us today to see that. But yeah, definitely. Masouras is fantastic. He really is an asset with potential for club and country. Paraskevas Dimitropoulos again. I would like to see more of Masouras involved with the national team. I didn't in the beginning, but the stuff that he's doing, he could do for the national team. Again, the issue is going to be whether we can replicate a system that you get the best out of him. But yeah, I agree with this as well. Alexandros, his mentality is great. His work ethic. I mean, those are things that we really never complain about, oddly enough. That's not something that you ever see anybody say, oh, Masouras is a bad egg with this. He doesn't run. No, he always does that. His issue has really always been mainly that end product.
Yeah, you can never fault him for putting in the work. You just wish that the end product was consistently there. I mean, guys, genuinely, if his technical ability with the crosses and the shots, if that stays where it is when he's good, like we could sell him on for some money if we wanted to, or we could keep him and he would be a legend in our club if he stayed for a long time. We just need that. I mean, yeah, the assist in Arsenal, that was a beautiful ball I believe with his left foot as well. That was a very, very nice pass. I watched that back and I always think like, wait, that wasn't Valbuena, that was Masouras. But incredible. I mean, yeah, when he's playing well, he's a top player. And with the national team, I'll say like, he's not going to try to nutmeg Sergio Ramos and get by him like some other players are. And I mean, Hatsiovanis, I will say, as we're talking about national team wingers, he looked good in some cases, but man, it's just nice to know that as soon as he passes the ball, it's just going to be a goal kick for us, or it's just going to be a cross that Jose Sa can easily catch, because like he was dangerous dribbling by us and then he would cross it and it's just, nothing to worry about with Hatsiovanis. So he's not quality for the national team either. He has it in spurts for Panathinaikos, but that end product is really lacking for him.
Fans are showing a lot of love for Jose Sa. Needs to be said. I dread what's going to happen at the end of the year. I think we were talking about this offline, but I just find it very hard to believe, guys, that Jorge Mendes is going to find an offer for him to trigger that 13 million clause, whether it's 13 million or whether it's 10 or 11. I think we all know that Jose Sa is only with us this season because he broke his finger before the Wolves game.
Oh yeah,
and because he was unavailable last season. So I'm very worried about that. Saab, is he a world-class keeper or not? I think he's very, very high level. And I think if he wasn't so eccentric, he probably would be. But he's been easily one of the best goalkeepers that I've ever seen at the club, for sure.
Peter, can you pull up the Chris Oxford comment? Yes, this one. I thought this was a good question. Who do you guys think is the closest to Olympiakos in the league now? I think Pau are second now. Still not great, but better than Pau. So for me, I'm still going to say, in terms of what I've watched and what I've seen with quality, Aris is the second best team in the league. That's a tough nut. It's the toughest. Those are the toughest games that we've played on a whole by a single team. Every game against Aris has been really tough for us. And they have shown in the league why they've basically been the second place team most of the year. So for me, it's us, then Aris. And then in terms of the quality, what we've seen Panathinaikos do, albeit maybe not as consistent as you'd like, I could see them being third. They've put together, all things considered, you have to say that Bologna took a train wreck and really kind of made something out of it. So you have to respect that. But for me, Aris is number 2, clear this year.
Yeah, I agree, Aris. And then, I mean, to be fair, Panathinaikos, like, as we've said, they've had some good results. Like, it's hard to put them below PAOK if we're just ranking the teams. Obviously, like, they might finish below PAOK on points, but they just beat them 3-0, right? So, it's hard to say, I think PAOK are better. I do think it's very close, though, and I also think that AEK are comfortably the fifth best team in Greece right now, which is honestly kind of weird to say. I think at the beginning of the season, we would have all said AEK are a top 3 team in Greece pretty comfortably, but that back line is just horrendous. And I mean, yeah, with Bologna, I thought he was going to get sacked at one point. But generally, I think patience can be rewarded in some sense. Like, this guy hasn't had a transfer window, or at least not a summer transfer window, to, get all of these Dani Poyatos coats out of the team and get some players that he actually has interest in using. He brought in some interesting players. The one young Senegalese kid who started for them today, I wish I could. Is it Niasse? He played all right, I would say. He was. I don't think he committed a single foul, or maybe just one foul, which compared to the rest of the team is very good. That was a good signing. And then the Ngapoto, who came on as a sub, and Sangare, who I think scored against us last time, all very solid players. So I would give Bologna a little bit of time. I think he's got the potential to put Panathinaikos up to the point where it's like us and them again as the top two teams in Greece.
Honestly, guys, I haven't watched the other teams enough. I just don't have the time, and I could care a shit, to be honest. No, I'm going to be nice. I think because of COVID and empty stadiums, I have to be honest, I just haven't had the desire and the time to watch other teams play. I of course follow our team with a passion, don't miss any games, national team as well. I don't know, probably from the games that I've seen, teams that have played against us in our matches between, probably Aris. But you know what, guys, like I think a team like Giannina, like I'm not saying like they're the second best team or anything in the league, but I think Giannina is the team that have caused us the most trouble this season out of the teams that we've played against. They've not parked the bus. You know, they've had a solid kind of tactical formation and style of playing that we saw in the cup game, the way that they transitioned from defense to offense and the tricks that they did, holding up the ball in the midfield, passing the ball out to the wings and attacking in numbers. If I'm going to give a shout out to anybody, I'll probably give it to Giannina. I mean, Ajax have been in a state. They changed. They had another manager at the start of the season, did they? Or was it Jimenez at the beginning? I really don't remember. But I mean, Pablo Garcia, the man that talks about us playing friendlies. That was a good friendly today, wasn't it? I'm lucky we didn't come out with injuries. And now the preseason friendlies begin next week. Next one at PAOK. Anyway.
Isn't that ironic? We finally have a friendly, and it's against PAOK. But yeah, I mean, Giannina, assuming their manager doesn't go anywhere, and by go anywhere, I mean assuming he could probably move to a big team if he really wanted to. I think he's done quite a good job with the squad there. They could be next year's Asteras, I think, and maybe even push further in the race for Europe as well. You know, sort of sneak into the championship group and potentially mix things up. That might be interesting as a plot line for next year as well.
Hot button question here from Angelos Potzis on Facebook. Would you guys keep Bruma for the next season? PSV wants $7 million.
It's still no.
You know, we've been saying this constantly, no, and then even with today, no. I mean, if it's $7 million, take it or leave it. Hell no.
Yeah,
I'm still at this point splitting hairs whether I would even spend $1 million on him or not. Maybe $1.5 million. I don't know if I'd do it.
I would take Mario Versailles. I would take Mario Versailles over him any day of the week. And you know what? That thing at the end of the game where he was running and he was 3-on-1. He had Camará to his left and El Arabi on the right. I was just watching that action unfold and I was like, oh my god, he's gonna fuck it up. Oh my god, he's gonna fuck it up. And you just know that if we didn't score that, Carapapaz would probably have grabbed him by the collar at the end of the game and kicked him all the way to the airport.
Yeah, oh, no, I'm not spending even $1 million is tough for me to consider spending on him.
This was a better game from him, to be fair, and that's why it's like when he has a good game and you're still like, I don't know. You know, when he has a bad game, it's like, and I think we were saying, was it the Giannina game when we were giving him a lot of shit, or was it Mike? I forget. We were like, no shot. He's getting anything. So yeah, I am not interested in continuing to have him on the team. As Costa said, Versailles is so much better, and Hatsiovanis in our team. No, I think Hatsiovanis is a slightly better Lazar. And that's what I see here.
No, Lazar's better. Rajelovic is better.
So? You think so?
Yeah.
Well, either way, I don't want him in the team. But
while we're kind of still on the subject of Bruma, The random dude here is asking where the 7 million came from. It's actually 6. It's 6 million. But remember, the reason it's the buyout's that high, PSV is trying to recoup some losses. Remember, they spent 13 million on him when they brought him in as a player. So they're trying to recoup whatever losses they can. Obviously, no one's paying 6 million for him. But that's where that figure came from. His buyout is 6 million, and that's where it's coming from.
Well, we've got another question here. Oh, two of us tried to put questions up at the same time. I saw this one about Cumic. I think that's an interesting shout as well. I haven't kept up with him. I know Martial has a loan report, and I know Adi's kept up with him as well. Adi, what do you think about this?
Well, so Cumic is an interesting one for me. He has great technical ability. The one thing that kind of concerns me every game I watch is that I'm almost worried that, let's say Lazar goes off on loan somewhere, we give Cumic an opportunity with the first team. Some of the stuff that I see that he does in the second division of Spain that he kind of gets away with, it's similar stuff that we see Lazar doing, holding onto the ball a little too much, maybe trying to do one too many things instead of playing a little bit more simply. He definitely has incredible talent. But there's things that I see where I'm like, oh my God, literally could be Lazar 2.0, where we see him do stuff and we end up getting really irritated with him. Look, let's hope that that's not the case. There's a lot of stuff that interests me about him. And I really think he can come good where Lazar hasn't. So I'm hoping that maybe he gets brought into the first team, or he's an option that's brought in, bench option next season.
Also, it has to be said, like, as you say, with the degree of uncertainty with Cumic, the top scorer, I think, at least on his team, or maybe even in the entire second division of Spain, is a name you might remember, Uros Djordjevic. No relation to the legend Djordjevic, but a player who came into Olympiakos after a big season in Serbia with Partizan, very similar story, put up a lot of numbers, came into Olympiakos and was fairly underwhelming. Now he's doing more than Cumic in the Spanish second division, so that has to be said as well.
The shout to Costa, Papadimitriou Costa. We talked about this a little earlier. Apostolopoulos, we heard a lot about him last season, coming from Panathinaikos. Immediately, the comparisons with Tsimikas. We hope to see him in the coming games. And some of the other kids, we want to see Vrusai back. We want Surlis to get more playing time. This kid, Liatzos, that Milan's looking at. Why not? So yeah, man, for sure. Like, we want to see those players, those young players for sure. There's another question. Markovic. They're saying he's the best central defender in Serbia this season. That's all I know. I don't know if anyone else.
Y-Scout has him ranked up there. So, I mean, he's got great stats. Looks good. Now, personally, I haven't watched any film. I haven't watched any tape. I'm just speaking purely on the numbers. And he's doing very well there. That's another one. If there's a center back we end up selling, whether it's Cisse or somebody else, and we need to bring someone in for depth, I'd rather bring him in than purchase something else.
Good shout here from Antoni as well about Christofilopoulos. Hopefully someone we can potentially see. We've got 3 central defender spots to play.
There's another kid. There's another kid that Martins brought up from the youth team, a 16-year-old from Asteras Tripolis. I can't remember his name. It's not Christofilopoulos. It's another one. I can't remember.
I know exactly who you're talking about, but I can't remember the name. I saw this on Instagram a few days ago, but the first thing I thought was another player for Martins to not play. Yeah. But with that, do we have anything else? I think it's maybe time for man of the match and coach's grade as we begin to wrap up. I will go ahead and get started. I'm actually going to give a surprise pick for my man of the match. I'm going to give it to Sokratis Diudis for giving us 2 goals.
You got me. Well done.
Too much.
In all seriousness, I'm going to give it to Masouras. Big performance, making up for shitting the bed against Panathinaikos last time. And he didn't get on the score sheet, but he was very good. And you know, he deserves a reward for his hard work, and his reward is going to be Peter's man of the match. Coach's grade, Martins, I will say, I pretty much agreed with most of the stuff that he did today. I think the big one that we talked about at the beginning is the change early on with Ba getting injured, being unafraid to change formation 30 minutes in. That's a big gamble for a team to make, man. And for someone like Martins, who we've seen him play a lot of formations, but he's a pretty rigid guy. He doesn't take risks. For him to do that and for it to pan out very well. I mean, the guy who came on scored our 2 goals. I think that's a good move from him. Very savvy to read the situation, look at the game script with how many crosses we were getting in, especially down the right side with Androutsos, and then Holebas as well was putting in a lot of crosses. I'm going to give him an A. Yeah. The changes in the second half, I think, were also pretty good. As we said, maybe Bouchalakis could have came off a bit earlier, but Mady was a big impact when he came on. He played good football. So for me, that's what I say. But what do you think, Costa?
Do you know what, guys? Before I get into this, there's something we didn't say about today's game. And I know we talked about empty stadiums, but oh my God, this game with a full stadium, it was asking for it. It was with that sub, for example, when he brought Hassan on and he brought the second striker on, the game opened up. Like we were on the halfway line. We were pressing to get the equalizer. We were pressing to get the second goal. And every time they recuperated the ball and we didn't, get the ball from the press, the ball was going out to the wing. Hadzi was running down the left, looking dangerous until the final ball. But it was a good game to watch, and for the fans, it would have been magnificent. Going 1-0 down, the ref's decisions. I could literally feel myself in Karaiskaki, like what would be going on. The shouting at the ref, at the Panathinaikos players, the swearing. Really, no, I felt myself like in Karaiskaki, like with the fans. Such a shame, but I did want to just say that. I think it's important.
I have to say as well, very brief note. It was nice to see one flare go off sort of late in the first half. That was, I was like, oh my God, I haven't seen that in years. This is beautiful. Like that was a welcome sight to see. And some Putanasi Panathinaiki chants when the penalty was awarded as well. But yeah, I mean, this would have been an amazing game to be in Karaiskaki for. Hopefully soon, people. Anyway,
the game script was great, man. Just like it was, I could just feel myself like coming out of the stadium, and I'd be buzzing. Like I'd be buzzing coming out of the stadium. We just won the league. We'd have that big fucking party. Oh man, like what are we talking about? And then just the walk afterwards, coming out the stadium, going to the tram. Oh man, I miss it so much.
Lazar's going to have a big fucking party anyways, and Lambro's invited. So,
okay, I digress. You know what, man? Like, I want to give a shout out to Jan and Villa. I think he had a fantastic game in midfield today. He didn't put a foot wrong. His range of passing was immense, as always. Short passes, long range passes, tackles, everything. The whole package. He is the whole package. Been by far our best signing this season. I don't want to use the but word here, but Hassan is man of the match. He scored the equalizer. He scored the goal to put us 2-1 in front. So Hassan's the man of the match. And I agree with you as well, Peter. I think Masouras had an exceptional game. Some people might even say, Bruma deserves it because he had a goal and an assist. But yeah, okay, guys, no. Hassan gets it for me. And coach's grade, Martins gets an A. Again, he made the right changes. That's what the game script shows. Bringing Hassan on like that, I think it was the right move.
I agree with you guys 100%. My man of the match is also going to be Hassan, not just because he scored the goals, but there were other opportunities. He had the disallowed goal, and he didn't put his head down. He kept it up. He kept going. And even though he had a couple of shots that he just kept aiming right at the keeper, I wish he would pick corners. with some of his stuff. But you know what? He got into those positions, and he got into at least more dangerous positions than El Arabi did in that scenario. So I'm giving it to him, man. You need somebody to finish the opportunities. We've seen times where we've had almost endless opportunities and couldn't score. And this time he put a couple away and made some things almost out of nothing. So can't complain. Man of the match. Shout outs to, I do want to give a shout out to Costas Fortunis as well. I thought he had a solid game, especially in the first half. When he was subbed off, I was a little bit concerned because I was like, there's so much creativity, and his set pieces, some of his set pieces were on the money today. So great job from him. Jan Vila also class, just class. Always class on the ball. A fantastic engine for this midfield. I when I watch him play now, I don't understand how we lived without him. Just seeing what we play with him. So Thanasis Adroutsos, you made Juan Carr your bitch today. Well done. You were amazing. You're not even a normal right back, and you made Juan Carr look stupid.
Took the ball from him so many times, man.
Getting fouled over and over again.
Yeah.
You picked your head up and you wanted some more. I love that. I love that fight. Keep it up, Thanasi. That was fantastic. So digressing, going to coach's grade, A for Martins. I agreed with all of the stuff that he did, and it worked.
We're giving a lot of shout outs today. I want to shout out Holebas as well. He played all right, and a very nice assist, it has to be said, man. Bionic.
Guys, exactly. Bionic Holebas.
And we've got an update from Lambro as well. It appears that he's in Thessaloniki and he's looking for Bruno. If you're in the area and you know where Bruno can be found, maybe let Lambro know. I'm assuming he's just running the streets, avoiding the cops in Thessaloniki, avoiding that €200 fine, just yelling out Bruno's name. And they've got to get to Athens soon, guys. So if you know where Bruno is, let us know. And Lazar will be very happy, and Lambro will be very happy. But anyway, I think that's about all we've got. We're about at an hour here. I just want to say thank you so much for everybody that is tuned in live, everyone that has watched on YouTube or on Spotify. Oh, Lambro, Bruno has planted an Olympiakos flag in Tumba. That's what we're hearing from Lambro. This is huge news, guys. Bruno is coming too. This is great. Lambro, thank you for your effort. Avoid the cops on your way to Athens. But as I was saying, thank you so much for watching, everybody. We hope you enjoyed the live. We'll be back on Friday with Guillaume Gillet. Until then, if you're starving for Olympiakos content, gate7intl.com is pushing out blogs pretty much daily, if not more. So keep your eyes out for that. We have blogs in English, French, Greek. If you can't speak those languages, Google Translate is your friend and can help you out there. And there's so much content. And I'm telling you, it's all really great stuff, really diverse content. So keep your eyes open on the website as well.
I got something for you before we go. Adeya, protathlima, sana sobirea. You just listened to an episode of the Gate 7 International Podcast, a podcast connecting Olympiakos fans from Brussels to Tokyo, from Toronto to Geneva. We are 4 Olympiakos fans from every corner of the world, bringing you news and interviews of the team you love in English. With new episodes twice a week, you will never miss out on the latest updates and stories of the team you love. If you liked what you heard, make sure to follow us on social media at Gate7INTL. Give us a subscribe on YouTube or even leave a review on all our podcast channels. Until next time, this is our team, our city and our story. Θρύλος είσαι, στο μυαλό κάτι μαγικό.